Shalom, shalom, Makian. This is Raphael with WFI Little Rock, coming to you with this cold cut precepts. I want to hit you with the precept of the day in the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 27. And you shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am Yahweh your God and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed. And it shall come to pass that afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. Right here in verse 29, we have a lot of people confused, believing that these servants and handmaids is actually speaking about them in the book of Isaiah chapter 14, 1 and 2, but that is not so. Let's get a quick little precept in the book of in the book of Jeremiah chapter 34, and starting at verse number 8. It says, "This is the word that came unto Jeremiah from Yahweh, after that the king Zedekiah had made a covenant with all the people which were at Jerusalem to proclaim liberty unto them, that every man shall let his manservant and every man his maidservant, being in Hebrew or in Hebrews, go free, that none shall serve himself of them, to wit of a Jew his brother. Now when all the princes of all the people which had entered into the covenant heard that every one shall let his manservant and every one of his maidservant go free, that none shall serve themselves of them any more, then they obey and let them go. But afterward they turned and caused the servants and the handmaids whom they had let go free to return, and brought them into subjection for servants and for handmaids. Therefore the word of Yahweh came unto Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, I made a covenant with your fathers in the day that I brought them out of the forth of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondmen, saying, At the end of 7 years, let ye go every man his brother and Hebrew, which had been sold unto thee, and when he has served thee 6 years, thou shalt let him go free from thee. But your fathers hearkened not unto me, neither inclined to their ear. And ye were now turned and had done right in my sight, in proclaiming liberty every man to his neighbor. And ye had made a covenant before me in the house which is called by my name. But ye returned and polluted my name, and caused every man his servant and every man his handmaid, whom ye had set at liberty at their pleasure, to return, and brought them into subjection to be unto you for servants and for handmaids." Verse 17, "Therefore thus says Yahweh, ye have not hearkened unto me in proclaiming liberty, every one to his brother and every man to his neighbor. Behold, I proclaim liberty for you, says Yahweh. To the sword, to the pestilence, and to the famine, I will make you to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth." So this is powerful, because the servants and the handmaids were of the children of Israel, which Joel chapter 2, 27 through 29 is speaking of, and is going into them getting into even more trouble because they refused to obey the word of the Most High. They literally broke the law in Leviticus chapter 25, verse 35. It says, "And if thy brother be waxen poor, falling in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him, yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. Take thou no usury of him, or increase, but fear thy God, and that thy brother may live with thee. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor let him the victuals for increase. I am Yahweh your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt to give you the land of Canaan and to be your God. And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bond servant, but as a hired servant, and as a sojourner he shall be with thee, and he shall serve thee unto the year of the Jubilee. And then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondmen. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but thou shalt fear thy God. In the book of Jeremiah, chapter 34, 8 through 17, we saw that the children of Israel, they went against the commandment of the Lord, and therefore they got in trouble. Continuing in Leviticus chapter 25, jumping down onto verse 54, it says, and if he be not redeemed in these years, then he shall go out in the year of the Jubilee, both he and his children with him. For unto me the children are servants. They are my servants, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh your God. So when we look at the context and the precept to give the sense in the book of Joel chapter 2, let's go back to that real quick. In Joel chapter 2, verse 29, and also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit, and I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of Yahweh come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call upon the name of Yahweh shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as Yahweh has said, in the remnant of who the Lord shall call. This is very, very important, because the entire context here is literally speaking about the children of Israel and his brethren, the stranger that sojourn among them, whether they became stranger or sojourner through servitude unto their brothers. I hope this was a mighty and edifying precept to help sharpen up the children of Israel. And with that, Kum Yesharala, Yahweh Bashem Yavashai, Barakatam, Shalom.